Super excited to be here in my neighborhood to welcome you all to the groundbreaking of the Fitchburg arts community. My name is Derek Craig, and I'm here wearing many hats. I'm a homeowner, I'm an art lover, I'm a board member on Newview Communities, I'm the program manager for the Fitchburg Creative City Partnership, but most importantly, I'm an artist. So you're here, this place is going to be more than just redeveloped buildings. It's going to be a canvas where creativity, culture, connection within 68 spaces for artists to live, create, and share their work. So we're not just building homes, we're crafting a vibrant hub that will enrich and elevate the Fitchburg art scene. This is a $45 million dream in the making, set to transform the downtown to create a community where art and culture flourish. A big shout out to all the creative minds and all the hands involved, Newview Communities, Fitchburg State University, the Fitchburg Art Museum. There's a lot of names up here, actually. Actually, real quick, so it's not like, you know, there's a lot of talking, so I don't want to. But if you represent one of the organizations on here, can you make some noise one time? I like that. From my artist heart, and as a program manager for the Fitchburg Creative City Partnership, I see this as a monumental step towards a future where creativity lights up every corner of our city. So let's use our imagination as shovels, not literal shovels, as we break ground and start painting this new chapter for Fitchburg together. And now, I am so thrilled to introduce, pass the mic to Mark Doan, Executive Director at Newview Community, to share more about this artistic adventure.
Thanks, Derek. So I'm Mark Doan. I'm the Executive Director of Newview Communities. I'm short, so I got to move the microphone, you know. So here it is. After 10 years, it is finally the end of the beginning. So thank you all for coming on this really cold day. These three buildings, the city stables that has the little stables written on it, B.F. Brown in the annex, are all over 100 years old. The first one was built in 1886. They'll now all be saved. They'll be put on the National Register, and they'll be transformed into 68 affordable and workforce artist apartments. These buildings are the cornerstone of a neighborhood where we all want to live, work, and invest. But they're just part of a neighborhood that Newview and many others help to reimagine. We help people purchase their first homes and repair them. We help people start small businesses. We painted, we cleaned, we gardened, we swept, we revitalized parks, we paved streets and sidewalks. We built 10 other single-family homes, 2 two-family homes, and 58 other apartments. And we're a community development corporation. So more than any of that, what we did was we listened. We door knocked, we surveyed, we held meetings. What can make the neighborhood better? What do you like about your neighborhood? What ideas do you have for these buildings? And what ideas do you have for the Fitchburg arts community? We brought our architect, Janice Mamayak, who's here somewhere, to come to the meetings to actually hear what people had to say directly so they could talk right to the design team. And after listening, we started an art steward program, and we helped create public art in Fitchburg. So today, I can say that we are on track to extend an invitation to 68 new families to move into these buildings in 2025. As Derek said, there are a lot of people to thank, but one of the groups that we couldn't do this without our elected officials. So I want to introduce a group of them, and first is Mayor DiNatale. So I got to say, there are many things about Mayor DiNatale. One of the things he always tells me is, "I'm not a patient man, Mark. When are you going to start construction?" And he would always end every conversation to say, "What can I do to help you out? What can I do to make this happen?" We're also super fortunate to have a great state delegation led by Senator Cronin and Representative Kushmerek. They work as a team, and I cannot tell you how many people they bring to Fitchburg, taken on tours, to get them to invest and to bring money and funds and ideas into our community. And there must be something in the water about it if you're a politician. They're like kind of more polite than Mayor DiNatale, but they kind of always say, "So, when's construction going to start? And if you need anything, here's my number." And we also couldn't do this without great support from our delegation in Washington. Lori Trahan, I guess they have a new speaker finally in the House, so they actually have some votes they have to take. So she couldn't be here today, but we're really fortunate to have Jake Mastrangio from her office, who's also going to say a few words. So I'd like to ask each of you, Mayor DiNatale, Senator Cronin, Representative Kushmerek, and Jake, to come on up.
Yeah, Mark's short, but I'm not. So I just want you all to know that. And when you see Ed Augustus, oh my God. I mean, from feast to famine, it's unbelievable. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mayor.
He's the bulldog. He's the bulldog. B.F. Brown closed in 2009 after 87 years as a school. There were 3 empty buildings in the area, the school, the annex, and the stables. Mark's talked about that. The fire in Fitchburg's Choice came about on September 26, 2016, tore through the B.F. Brown building. I remember, I see Chief Roy in the crowd. Chief was there. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and just made everything that we were seeking and what we were hoping for came under questioning. So it was a 4-alarm fire, by the way, folks. Fitchburg's Choice: tear down the building, create a parking lot, or create artist preference housing. We chose to invest in arts and culture and housing for the city of Fitchburg. Our team secured insurance money, encouraged our state delegation to pass a home rule petition to create more space for parking, and created parking adjacent to Low Park. Why housing? Housing is an economic driver. More housing means more people living, working, and shopping in our city. To encourage housing, we adopted a smart growth housing zone so that this project could be built by right and get the property back on the tax rolls. Why arts and culture? Arts and culture is good for Fitchburg. It helps our economy and helps our residents and businesses. Arts and culture takes advantage of our strengths. It takes advantage of our walkable streets and older buildings, capitalizes on a diverse population, great art museum, and Fitchburg State University's new theater block. The Fitchburg Arts community will include 68 new creative living spaces within walking of downtown, shopping in stores, eating in restaurants, and working, investing, and bringing energy to the city. To encourage arts and culture, the city created two-way Main Street and invested in public art, including placemaking opportunities and with Mill Street and its stage and plaza, and created a loan, grant, and sign programs to encourage small businesses. We invested, as a community, $450,000 in American Rescue Plan Act funding and home funding of $850,000. This is the most funding the city has ever been able to provide to a single housing project. I'd like to thank many of the city who made this happen. The Planning Board, the Parks Board, Historic Commission, Conservation Commission, our Community Development and Planning Department, including former staff directors Tom Skorowski and Larry Casassa, Our building department, Department of Public Works, including former Commissioner Lenny Laxo, as well as the fire and police departments, parks and recreation, and our law department. Thank you to all who participated. And this is a great crowd. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for coming out. So wonderful. Who am I handing this off to? Senator Cronin, you're on.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's so good to be here with all of you today. I want to start by just saying, you know, to those who might be naysayers or who don't believe in the future of this city, who are cynical, look to your right, look to your left, look behind us. Look what we can accomplish when we work together to move the city forward. It's just remarkable. So I hand for all the stakeholders who at different points of this project pushed it ahead a little bit. It's unbelievable, and we need to celebrate it. And I love going before Representative Kushmera because I get to steal all his good material. But I want to highlight a couple of people. First, I want to thank Secretary Augustus, who, under the leadership of Governor Healy, has filed a housing bond bill that is going to represent twice the investment and a historic level of funding that's going to flow to cities like Fitchburg over the next 5 years. So there are going to be more projects like this and more investments in our downtown. And so Secretary has not been in the seat long, but he's been to Fitchburg a lot and North Central, and he's a Worcester County guy, so we couldn't have a better partner in the administration than you, Mr. Secretary. I also, thank you. I also want to thank the leader of Mass Development, Dan Rivera, for being here. Dan was a former mayor, and he is a doer, right? I mean, he wants to get to yes. And I will tell you one quick story. We brought him for a tour of this project. We were very close to being able to secure financing, and we needed Mass Development to push the button on something. He called back the next day, and he said, at our next board meeting, we're going to take 2 votes. The first vote is going to be changing the rules so that I have the approval authority to say yes to what you need, and the second vote is yes. And so everything you see going on would not have happened without you, Dan. I'm really grateful for your partnership. And then the third person I just want to say thank you to is Megan Donahue at the Fitchburg Redevelopment Authority. There's so many different stakeholders who have a part in the mission of moving this city forward. Megan had received a state earmark of nearly $1 million, $750,000, and there is a list of about 100 things that we want to do with that money because there are so many good projects and so many important places to invest. Mark called myself and Representative Kushmera, and he said, we're not going to be able to go forward unless we get an infusion of cash. This project faced historic and unprecedented challenges to be greenlit. Think of COVID, think of supply chain, incredible rises in the cost of labor. We called Megan Donahue and we asked if she would be willing to have the FRA give that money to this project. Immediately she said yes. That week her board approved it, and everything again that you see happening is because of that type of stakeholder engagement and shared commitment to making sure this project became a reality. So Megan Donahue, thank you for what you did, and thank you for the great work you do at the FRA. And I'm wrapping up, Mark. I know I'm over my 2 minutes. But yeah. Mark lost years of his life making this project happen, right? I mean, Mark lived on a razor's edge for 10 years, and lesser people would have quit, lesser people would have moved on, but because of you and your team at Newview, you have breathed so much life and transformation into a city that is so desperate and so grateful for it. So Mark, thank you and the Newview team. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Mike Kushmerick, the state representative for Fitchburg and Lunenburg. It is just such an honor and a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Senator Cronin, once again for stealing all of my highlights. And truly, first, or the second, I guess, of many thank yous, Secretary Augustus, true New England warrior here without a coat in 30-degree weather. Secretary, thank you for being here. Your third stop, I think, in Fitchburg in 6 months, so we'll expect you back around Christmas time, right? Dan Rivera, thank you again to all of you who have been subjected to Senator Cronin and I's walking tours of downtown. Sorry, but not sorry. Hopefully that means we'll be back here doing another one of these soon. You know, I look back, I think I was 26 or 27 years old. I was a tenant in a New View property when Mark first approached me as this. I wasn't even yet a city councilor. Dolores Thibault Munoz, now the deputy at New View, was helping me to transition into my role, taking over for her as the Ward 4 councilor. And I remember Mark and Nick Capasso and Jay Bry approaching me about, we've got a crazy idea. We're thinking about taking this building, a blight, abandoned, you know, the constant crux of so many neighborhood concerns and complaints. And we're thinking about turning it into artist preference housing. You on board? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. And I think that was the first of so many projects where you think, oh boy, that's going to be a big lift. But yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. And you know, it's easy to say yes to someone like Mark Doan. But, you know, to bring a project like this to fruition, that doesn't happen by accident. That doesn't happen by dumb luck. And that doesn't happen by a couple of accidental or ignorant yeses on the other end of the conversation, though there's a lot of those things that come into play along the way. It comes from building coalitions. And it comes from being able to look at liabilities across a city, being able to look at what your assets are. Mark, you took a project like this at a time where we were worried about how to keep our firefighters and police officers in uniform and on payroll, how to turn the street lights back on in our city, and here we are. You saw through everything, you saw that there was opportunity. You saw that liability, and you saw an asset. At a time where Fitchburg was suffering from maybe a lack of imagination, we're steering through a crisis and the Great Recession, and you saw on the other end of this will be a much brighter future for our city. There'll be a city with hope, there'll be a city with youth and vitality and opportunity, and you never gave up on that. And I just look around, Derek Craig said it earlier, but you look around this audience, it's just amazing to see. You see those who have steered us through some of the more difficult moments in our city's history. I'm looking at Ellen DiGeronimo, I'm looking at Mayor Lisa Wong. And I look at some of our more youthful faces here, and I'm not looking in the mirror, I promise you, I don't feel youthful after being up with my son all night. I'm looking at, you know, Nazi Thomas and Derek Cruz and Derek Craig and so many others who are here who will lead in the future through this city. This is an incredible team building effort and exercise you went through, Mark. You made the city stronger because of this project. And, you know, there's a lot of other people to single out here, and I won't do that other than just one other, because I think at every step along the way there was that yes or no moment of, do we move forward? When the building burned down, do we take the insurance money, demolish it, and pave a mile of road? That was tempting. And there were many in the city urging the city's leadership to do exactly that. And at every one of those forks in the road, I have to commend Mayor DiNatale for having the fortitude and the strength to double down and say, no, we're plowing ahead. We're investing city resources. We will get this project done. Those aren't accidents in leadership, and Mark Doan and Steve DiNatale, those were the people charging ahead at a really difficult time in our city's history, and now we get to unlock the future of generations, 60-plus families in this neighborhood, and so much more hope, opportunity, and housing to come. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jake. I am Lori Trahan's outreach director. As Mark said, she had to get called back to D.C., but trust me, she would have much rather been here with all of you today. I also am going to try to do a big favor to Mark and be the first speaker to stick to my time limit. So it's a cold one, and nobody's here to listen to me today. But I just want to say Lori was thrilled to hear that nearly $20 million in federal funds from all these different buckets went into this project. You look around at this crowd and you see how many people played a hand in bringing us here today. And I just have to say, though, Mark and the entire Newview community team really led the way. And so on behalf of Congresswoman Lori Trahan, I have a certificate of special congressional recognition presented to Newview communities upon celebrating the groundbreaking of the Fitchburg arts community. These 68 units of artist preference housing will contribute to the redevelopment and cultural renaissance of downtown Fitchburg. This project is the culmination of 10 years of collaborative work and will not only leave a lasting impact on every resident who calls the Fitchburg arts community home, but the entire Fitchburg community. Thank you so much.
Okay. I just got to say, it is really, really good to be together here today. So thank you for joining us in the groundbreaking for this. It's a $45 million project. We're excited, again, to be able to house 68 new families. And when you hear that number, 45 million, you know, you heard what Jake said, $20 million from the federal sources. But we couldn't have done that without strong support from the Commonwealth and the Healy Driscoll administration. So we have our Secretary of Housing and Livable Communities, Ed Augustus, is here. He's been busy explaining all the great things that the administration put into this new housing bond bill, all the new housing programs. We saw each other in Worcester yesterday with the governor, where she was explaining what this bond bill was going to do. So we're really grateful for you to coming here today to help us break ground on the Fitchburg arts community. And we have a bunch of other state actors too. You've heard already about mass development. Dan Rivera's here. So they were very, very early investors in the project. They provided the money for the artist market study and have been in Fitchburg ever since. And as Representative Kuchmarek and Senator Cronin said, mass development was another one of our secret Santas to help us get to the closing when we needed help. One of the things that all these projects take, it's a 10-year long project, it takes a bunch of money up front. It takes pre-development funding. And that's what the Community Economic Development Assistance Corporation does. Roger Herzog's here from CDAC. Be asking him to come up and say a few words too. And one of the things that CDAC does was they always ask all the hard questions up front that make the project better. It's really a pain when they do that, but we're really grateful that they do it later on. And finally, this is the first project that Newview has done with mass housing. Mass housing has helped to fund the workforce housing units here and also provide the permanent debt. Mark Teeden, who's the director of the multifamily housing, right, that's your correct title, Mark, at Mass Housing, is here today. And Mass Housing also was another secret Santa who came up with a grant to help us close the project. But before I ask them to speak, I really have to call out the people who really did the work, who worked so many late nights, weekends, evenings, nonstop to get this project closed. They're standing way over there in the corner because they don't want to be seen. But Ann Reitmeyer and Steve Cook, Jim Linfield, our housing development team. Flora's probably even farther away. Flora Cintron was doing all the finance to make sure, there she is, to make sure we could actually get all the projects paid. And we have just a few other key members. So Icon Architects is here, Keith Construction, Wingate, our property manager, our legal team at Nixon Peabody and Smolik and Vaughn, and our superstar consultants, Carolyn Scheel and Steve Drelo. So they all put this giant jigsaw puzzle together to allow this to happen. So Secretary Augustus, Dan, Roger, and Mark, if you guys want to come up and say a few words. And I think Dolores is going to help us try to stay on time. I'm the worst offender, I know, but Dolores is standing right there, so when you get to your 2 minutes, she'll wave and we'll hopefully get you out on time, Secretary. Thanks a lot.
It's great to be here. I want to first congratulate Mark and his team for putting this great project together. It is so important to have organizations like Newview that know how to put all of the pieces of the puzzle together. It is not easy. There you're seeing some of us stand up here who hopefully provide some of the pieces of the puzzle, but how to put it all together and make it work and make it actually come out to the amazing project that this is not for the faint-hearted, and it's not for the timid. And so Mark and the team at New View are great folks who know how to pull that all together. I want to congratulate them. I want to congratulate your Fitchburg team led by the mayor, your state senator, your state rep. I am part of the thousands of folks who've been toured through downtown Fitchburg, literally one at a time, and that's smart, because a lot of this is about figuring out all the partners that you need to bring to the table to make a project work. Because there's not just one funding source. I bet there's more than a dozen funding sources to make these projects work, and everyone needs to be informed by putting eyes on it and building those relationships, and you've got a team of leaders here in Fitchburg who know how to do that, and that's important, and that brings you to days like today to get these projects off the ground. Before I was Secretary of Housing, I was in one of Fitchburg's bedroom communities as city manager of the city of Worcester, and I see Fitchburg using all of the same tools and the same playbook that we used in Worcester, using housing as a strategy to bring back its downtown, to put density exactly where you want it, near your retail, near your restaurants. The walkability of these projects to downtown is unbelievably strategic. The idea that these buildings could have been lost, I think, goes to the foresight and the vision of your leaders here in Fitchburg, that they understood that couldn't happen. You need to save these historic buildings. You need to bring them back to a positive, productive use. Not only the benefit of housing, which is a huge benefit in and of itself, but the density and the people that you're bringing to the right location. And the idea that you're really carving it out for the creative community is really smart, Every thriving city really tries to create opportunities for the creative types that bring vitality and energy and life to a community. So well done, Fitchburg, on that. And you're very fortunate to have a lot of partners. And the communities that are successful know how to build those partnerships. You've got a first-class art museum. You've got a first-class state university. Bringing them together and making them part of the team, making them part of this project. Just hats off to the folks here at Fitchburg. I'm so excited to be here and look forward to coming back when we cut that ribbon and let folks call this project home. Thanks very much.
Also part of the less tall group of people, and now I've ruined the mic. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I have to start by saying we should not be ashamed at the length of the program, the lists of the thank yous. You should like just embellish it. 10 years. Where were you 10 years ago? These people were thinking about this thing, and it's gonna be this beautiful place. So take pride in the list. I don't want to stop and say because I got something to say, but look at that. It's a huge list, and everyone played a critical role. Thanks to the leadership of Mark and the team at New View. I really think CDCs, Community Development Corporations, are the most important letters in the development alphabet. If they're not doing it, ain't nobody doing it. And they'll cry about how much it costs CDCs to do stuff, but they're not going to do it, or they'd be doing it. So I think more than just an applause, which we do, but also just, if you get a chance to stop by anybody who works at New View and Mark, shake their hand, give them a hug. They do incredible work there every day that the market refuses to do. You know, I may even start calling CDCs the mayors of the development team, because they get stuff done, Mayor. They get stuff done. And it's no secret why the governor appointed Secretary Augustus, because we city managers are like mayor adjacent. So we love them the same, and so having a gateway city leader lead this charge on the housing battle is very important. And it's a 1-2 punch with 1-2-3 punch with the CDC's leader like Secretary Augustus and leaders in communities like this, like Mayor D'Antelli, to get this stuff done. And it's always a good day to thank a legislator. always a good day. They could be talking about the crisis with immigrant housing, education, transportation, but they take time out of their days to fund and support things like this. And I think we need to give them a round of applause. I know still here the senator representative. There are so many crises they could be dealing with, and they're on. And so on behalf of the governor, Lieutenant Governor, and Economic Development Secretary Yvonne Howe, who serves on our board, I just want to thank you and congratulate you all. And for those of you that don't know mass development, we are not a secret Santa. We are actually the state's economic development and land bank agency. We work with businesses, nonprofits, and banks and communities to create jobs, housing, and redevelop communities across the Commonwealth. And we administer a bunch of the grant programs on the development side, including the Brownfields Redevelopment Fund, the Collaborative Workspace Program, and the Underutilized Property Program that you heard about today. It's called UPP, Underutilized Property Program, but it's really the Ugly Property Program. You know those buildings. We're looking at one. And so they're ugly on the outside, but they have so much heart, and we want to make sure that goes into play. And so for us, over those 10 years, we've invested close to $1.5 million to support this project, including the market study that Mark talked about, and other things around this, especially the redevelopment fund. This is a threefer, not a twofer. All Massachusetts people, it's not a twofer, it's a threefer. Revitalizing the underutilized properties, adding the housing, and advancing Fitchburg's vibrant culture economy. Culture, arts is economy, is jobs, is business. And if you do it right, like the mayor and the team at Newview are doing, it will equal a revitalization. We did have a TDI fellow here, if you don't know what that is, Transformer Development Initiative. It's a block, some of you have interacted with them. It's our way of putting development people in the communities that really need it every day for 3 years, and Fitchburg graduated from that into the new TDI program around the arts, another thing that's really been helpful in this project. So again, congratulations to Newview and all the partners. I look forward to coming back for the ribbon cutting. I gotta say, my team here for Mass Development, I see Shyla Matthews. Shyla, will you raise your hand? Shyla's knows everything about these programs. I do that, people think, oh, it's nice, she went to the staff. No, if you need money, you gotta talk to her. I don't know, she's smarter than I am on these things. And so just want to say thank you for letting us be a small part of this. The guy running the camera, he went to school here. Right? You went to school here and he went to this is a whole new thing for us. This is the type of stuff we love to be a part of. So congratulations to Newview, congratulations to all those involved, and enjoy this great day.
Mark referred to us as the organization that asks all these hard questions. Mark, one question that I guess we failed to ask is, how could you possibly have me follow great, eloquent speakers like Dan Rivera and Secretary Augustus and the mayor and state senator and state rep? Because I'm going to keep it quick and simple. But I am so thrilled to be here. There is so many hard and difficult times we're going through here in Massachusetts, in the region, in the world, and we need days like today that inspire hope, and this project is the right project to do that. I'm really glad that Dan Rivera mentioned the power of community development corporations. Over the last 3 or 4 years, you've heard a lot about the CDC. Folks, we're talking about a different CDC. Community development, not disease control. And Newview Communities is an excellent organization. We are so proud to be their partner. We have been by Newview's side for every one of their affordable housing developments that they've undertaken in Fitchburg and surrounding communities, and they never fail to deliver. I seem to be following Secretary Augustus on a daily basis all around the state, and it's confounding, but it's truly because, Secretary Augustus, you are nonstop. You have been in so many places so quickly, and as you've heard, projects like this do not happen without a strong state housing agency, and our newly branded Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities under the leadership of Secretary Augustus deserves a ton of credit for bringing us here today. So thank you very much, Secretary. You've heard about this major landmark legislation that Governor Healy filed a couple weeks ago, the Affordable Homes Act. Our legislators have already said positive things about it, which I take to be a great indicator. But the kind of resources that are going into this project are what is contained in that bill and will allow us to continue to do this work, more projects in Fitchburg and throughout the Commonwealth. So I commend the governor and her team for filing this. Of course, a huge congratulations to the city of Fitchburg marrying the art museum and community development is brilliant. It's like two different languages. I'm sure the artists and folks involved in the art museum have learned a whole lot about community development, and quite frankly, those of us in the community development sector need to learn more about creativity and the arts. So this is a wonderful marriage, and I cannot end without crediting the person at CDAC that does all of our work with New View, and that's Sarah McKeever, our Director of Supportive Housing. Great job, Sarah. Congratulations to all of our funding partners, and good luck with the easy part, the construction.
Thank you, Roger. My name is Mark Teeden, and I'm with Mass Housing. We're delighted to be here. Mark, congratulations to New View, your staff and the board, to the city, Mr. Mayor, and most importantly, in about 2 years, 100 new residents will be living here. We do many of these events around the state. This is one of the largest groundbreakings that I have seen. It's only slightly greater than the number of sources in the deal. But it really is a testament to the impact of what this development will have on this area. I'm also always struck when we are involved in the financing of an adaptive reuse, particularly of a school. 100 or so years ago, the municipal leadership had a vision about building a facility that would serve the residents of the city at that time. And Mayor DiNatale, I can't help but think that if the city leadership from 100 years ago were here today, they would be quite proud of you and your administration for the reuse of this and what it will mean to the city. So congratulations. I, like most of the speakers up here, represent an agency and have a great and talented team, amongst which is Danielle McCarthy, Sarah Hall, and Amanda Mielek. Please raise your hands. Thank you. There are others involved. And they're the ones that really do the very nitty-gritty and difficult work. Mark, we appreciate your support and your kind words about the agency, but we are very clear we can only finance something that actually comes together. We don't invent projects, we finance, and it's congratulations to you and your team for, again, pulling this all together. It's been a lengthy history, and we truly appreciate the opportunity for us to extend our mission of confronting the housing challenges facing the Commonwealth in conjunction with your mission, if I might read this here, to create strong, healthy neighborhoods where residents choose to live, work, and invest. And we think that's terrific. Love the opportunity again. Thank you very much. I also love the fact that they didn't even stop the machinery for the groundbreaking, because time is money, and 10 years has been long enough. It's now getting built. Congratulations.
Okay, as Mark said, it's really something special to redevelop a school. It unites almost all of us. Many of us went to a school perhaps that looked just like B.F. Brown, and many of us had that aha moment when you finally actually understood something that they were teaching you. Or perhaps you thought you discovered something that no one knew before. But to transform these buildings and preserve them historically, we already talked about it, it takes a lot of partners. And one of them is our syndicator. We get tax credits, but we need to turn them into money. And particularly for a project like this, I think this is only the second artist preference housing project that the Commonwealth has done that's used all these types of sources before. So we really needed somebody that was a great problem solver and could help us and could help us pull this all together. And so we're very fortunate to be with the Massachusetts Housing Investment Corporation. Not only are they helping us to put this project together, but they're also helping us to build the housing to be more equitable, because EMIC has a great program to make sure that Newview is working to hire more minority contractors. So we're excited to welcome Madi Turi to his first trip to Fitchburg. To do artist housing, you also need somebody who knows something about art and about creatives, and that is not me. And so we're really fortunate to have Nick Capasso from the Fitchburg Art Museum. Nick claims that I waited 3 weeks till after he started before I asked to meet with him. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back that I waited that long. So, and the Fitchburg Art Museum is what makes this project unique. And part of the other thing that makes a project like this go is we have a great partner in NeighborWorks America. Michael Williams is here from NeighborWorks. They're sort of a secret sauce. They're not a secret Santa. They're very open, but they're a secret sauce that gives us funding, training, networking, and great ideas. So we're really excited to have Michael here today as well. And before I turn the podium over to them, those three I wanted to also just acknowledge a few of the other financing sources. So we have the state and federal historic tax credits, and we're very grateful to Secretary of State William Galvin to providing us with the state historic tax credits that will help us put all these buildings on the National Register. We're really grateful to Eastern Bank and the Life Initiative for providing us with the financing that's actually paying for all this so those permanent sources can come in line. Really grateful for Bob Dorfman for actually taking the tax credits, the state tax credits, and turning them into money, because as tax credits they don't do us any good. And you've already heard about the Fitchburg Redevelopment Authority. We also need to thank the Barr and the Klarman Family Foundations for incredibly timely donations. And finally, I need to thank our board. Tom Gray is here. I'm going to ask him to come forward as well. They've been pushing us on this project for the last 10 years, going with all the ups and downs. Tom Gray, our board president, is here, so I'm going to ask him to say a few words as well. So Madi, Nick, Michael, and Tom, if you guys could come forward, that would be great. Thanks.
Good morning, everybody. This is a fantastic project. This is actually our sixth project with Newview, and so we're really excited. I want to thank, let me pull this up. I want to thank our project manager, Carrie, who is in the audience somewhere. If you could raise your hand in the back. Thanks. As Dan said, we have a pretty easy job. We just walk by their office and say, "How's it going?" And they're, so 10 years. And so this is amazing. My father-in-law actually lived in affordable artist housing in New York for 40-something years. And so I understand the importance of it. My wife, of course, grew up there. My daughter played in his studio. So when I see this bricks and mortar and construction going on, I also see the end result and know how that feels. And so congratulations to you guys for this project. We have 15% of the hard cost in this project will be done by minority business enterprises, and 25% of the people working on this project will be people of color. And we are just really excited to have a partner in Newview that is excited about that. When I ran into him, when I ran into him, we talked about this project and how it's going. I thought the first thing he was going to say, he said, "I'm really excited," and I thought he was going to say, "Because you guys gave us this money," and he said, "I'm really excited about actually that we're having 25% of the people of color on this project working, and about the MBEs," and I think that speaks volumes about this organization. I was a real estate developer, which underneath this hat I've lost all my hair, and that's why. Before I took this job, and I know how difficult it is to get something like this done. It is back-breaking work, which is why you see all of these people as they said earlier, and so just really excited for this community, really excited for the walkability and the ability to go around to the coffee shop, which I did this morning for breakfast, and to have weekend activity, et cetera, here. So thank you again.
Good morning. I'll be brief. I just want to say three things. First, I want to offer a little bit of clarification. So, on December 3rd, 2012, I became the director of the Fitchburg Art Museum, just down the hill. On January 11th, 2013, and I looked this up, Mark Doan came knocking on my door to propose the idea of the Fitchburg Arts Community, and we've been working together on this project for almost 11 years. I also want to thank not only you, Mark, but the Board of Trustees of the Fitchburg Art Museum, who have been all in on this since day one. It's been part of our strategic planning, and the amount of commitment here is incredible. We have many of our trustees and staff here today, and I want to thank all of you for supporting this. Okay, the second thing, why did an art museum become involved in a housing project? Well, we did not want 3 huge boarded up buildings across the street from the art museum, for starters. We also love our neighborhood and our city, and we want to see both revitalized. We love to help preserve beautiful this is beautiful architecture. The founder of the Fitchburg Art Museum, Eleanor Norcross, went to high school in that building, and she taught high school in that building. But most importantly, we love artists. And serving New England artists is a vital part of our mission. We invest in many ways in our local arts community, and we look forward to working with the artist tenants in the Fitchburg arts community to nurture a thriving creative economy in our city. And that brings me to my third and last point. We deeply believe in the power of arts and culture to leverage community and economic development. And it's happening now, here in Fitchburg. I'm surprised no one's mentioned this yet, but I'll mention it now. Over the last few years, Fitchburg has seen over $200 million of investment in arts and culture, infrastructure, programming, training, and leadership development. This, in turn, has motivated private sector investment in our downtown, including our many new restaurants and hundreds of units of market rate housing on Main Street. This works. I want to thank everyone here for your support of this vision, which is coming to life right before your eyes. Thank you so much.
Good morning. So first, I am Michael Williams. I'm with NeighborWorks America. I'm a senior relationship manager and a proud supporter and sponsor of New View America. New View has been working at this. I can't believe that it's been 10 years. Man, how time has flown. I can remember when this project was first identified and we took a tour and walked through the building, and I was like amazed at the structure and really taken aback by what this would become over time. And so, you know, congratulations to Mark and staff for their stick-to-itiveness on this project. I know it's going to be wonderful. In addition, NeighborWorks America, we are a congressionally supported national organization that supports a network of more than 250 organizations like New View across the country. NeighborWorks America is also a supporter of the Boston Fed Reserve's Working Cities Challenge, which was specifically designed to revive gateway cities like Fitchburg. And this project is yet another step in New View's mission to build thriving communities. Newview has been a member of the NeighborWorks Network since 1996, and I've been and had the honor of being their relationship manager for about almost a decade, basically. During this time, I've been amazed by Newview's unwavering commitment to meeting the highest standards for management and impact. Their dedication is not just commendable, it's inspiring. The Fitchburg Community Arts Project we are celebrating today will bring forth 68 new units of housing for community residents when completed in 2025. This is a testament to Newview's unyielding efforts to revitalizing communities. Newview understands the importance of taking the long view when it comes to community revitalization. They are pioneers in creative community development efforts and understand that arts have the power to build bridges, spark our imaginations, and bring together people like nothing else. As we break ground for this exciting project, let us remember that this is not just the beginning of a new housing development, it's the start of a more vibrant future. Thank you all for being here today, and let us look forward to the remarkable transformation that awaits us in years to come. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Actually, this is a great morning. As a lot of people have said, this is a long time in coming. I guess I wrote down a decade, but it's 11 years, I guess. And as a member of the board of directors of Newview, I was there for all those years, and I saw all the work that was being done by so many people. And my job here is to thank them. I want to thank a lot of the people that have spoke today, the Fitchburg Art Museum. I want to talk to the funders, the lenders, the constructors, the syndicators, all those people, our government partners, all those people, thank them. I also want to thank the community, the Fitchburg community, the people, the North of Maine community, and the artist community. They were all here for us. They stuck by us during all the times. When the fire happened, COVID, the prices, we had to get more money. All these 11 years, people stuck by us. They believed in us. And I want to thank every single one of them for doing that, because without their trust in us and their faith, we wouldn't be here today. Mark mentioned this, I also want to thank the management and staff of Newview. The board is not, we don't do the work, we just kind of talk about it a lot. But Steve and Ann, Mark mentioned, did so much work, dealt with so many problems, Mark of course, and everybody else in that organization really worked hard to get this done. And without everybody's effort, everybody's belief, we could be sitting here looking at a parking lot rather than 3 beautiful buildings that are going to be turned into affordable artist housing. And I'm really happy about that. So thank you very much.
Okay, we're almost done. I'm going to lean into what Dan said and just say we're taking our time to thank everybody. So I do want to recognize a few partners who, as Thomas said, sustained us over all these years and helped to bring this, who sustained us all these years and helped to bring us to this moment today. So first of all, I know I saw former Mayor Wong. She's probably back here. So I just want to thank her. She was the mayor when we were designated the developer of this project. Without her, it wouldn't have happened. I want to thank the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, who funded the Working Cities Challenge and our partners in that challenge. I'm not sure if Tamara Kovalchuk is here. Oh, she is. There she is. Thank you for coming out, Tamara. And I also want to thank our partners in that. So President Lapidus and Jay Bry from Fitchburg State University. I know I saw them around. Folks from Making Opportunity Count, the Health Foundation of Central Massachusetts. I know he had to leave early, but a special thanks to Marty Connors and the Wallace Foundation. because they believed in us early on when others were, yeah, you're sure this thing is going to work? And provided us with key funding. And we're also really grateful to UMass Memorial and their Anchor Mission program. I see Patricia Pistoni and Steve Roach standing right over here. And they're a hospital, and they understand that safer, affordable housing and stronger neighborhoods make us all healthier. And they came through with a key pre-development loan again in the early stages when we needed that money to keep this project going. So thank you for your help and for coming. And back before that, way before that, we had a few advocates who stuck their neck out early to make this project happen. One of them is our former board president, Andy Van Hazinga, who's now the ward councilor. Peter Smith, who I know I saw around here somewhere, here he is right over here, was helping to put this project together and saying, yes, you can actually do it. Don't worry, it won't take 10 years. Ellen DiGeronimo was always advocating for us, and not only advocating for us, but advocating for us with the people who could make this project happen, was whispering in their ears all those things to say, yes, of course you're going to save the buildings. Who cares that there's a fire? And I haven't seen it. I don't know if Ken Anson is here. I think he is. And I really want to thank Ken Anson, who helped mobilize the business community, testified before the city council at a time when, apparently he is here, but I just don't see him. There he is, right over there. Testified before the city council at a time to just make sure that, yes, this was okay. It wasn't just a crazy-ass idea from Newview Communities, from Community Development Corporation that didn't know what it was talking about, let alone from the artists who really didn't know what they were talking about. The business community was behind this, too. A special thank you to our Fitchburg art stewards who have championed Fitchburg all along as a gateway to arts and culture, attended every public meeting, and more important than that, helped to create the public art that you see all around as you drive down Fitchburg, and not just have us be buildings, but to have us be people. A final shout out to the alumni and friends of B.F. Brown, who, I tell you, we go to a lot of community meetings. Most people say, so what about parking? Like, that's what a community meeting is about for when you're redeveloping something. These guys were so enthusiastic about redeveloping the project. I wasn't quite certain what to do. What? They just want to do the project? It was great. Thank you guys for that. And now I want to introduce Dolores Tibo-Munoz, our deputy director, who actually was the former ward councilor in this ward, who explained how we're actually going to break ground and take a great photo with all of you folks here today.
Mark's lucky because I'm
the right size that we can both stand at the microphone at the right height.
I don't have to adjust it. Thanks, Mark. First of all, I just want to ask the staff of Newview to come forward, if you can. Stand with me. That includes you, Mark. Just want you all to see the faces of people behind the scenes for all that we do. So being here today has really made me appreciate the magnitude and the breadth of this project. You're in the middle of this campus. You're hearing the hammers going. I think of where I was 10 years ago. I was with my children, painting boards on the main building. We're doing something new. We're embarking on an artist preference housing, only the second one in the state. Because that's what we do. We're Newview. It's new. So we want to create a creative community that is affordable and that complements the creative community that has been built in Fitchburg. For a community of creative people who either as a sole source of income or not, or because it just makes them happy to be artists. Our thanks to each of you for finding the time this morning to celebrate with us. Really, thank you. The words offered by each of our speakers reminded us why 10 years of working towards today was worth it. Thank you. The Fitchburg Art Museum is a strong partner, and we're grateful for all of your logistical help this morning. Round of applause for that. Thank you to FATV for covering this historic moment, and we look forward to great photography provided by Andrew Cunningham. A development such as the Fitchburg Arts Community calls for a highly skilled and committed development team. Hats off to our real estate development team. Ann Reitmeyer, Steve Cook, and Jim Linfield. Newview knows well that events like this take a village. A special thanks to Carrie Flathers, who led our village and made today possible. I'd like to remind you to hammer a nail if you have time before you leave today. That is our new way of groundbreaking. We're now inviting all of you out there to join us here for a spectacular, great group photo. That's going to be great. We will be looking up at the annex, and Andrew will be taking our picture. I'm sorry, look. It changed. I wasn't aware. The ladder. You're going to look at the ladder. And Andrew will be taking the picture from there. So, see you all at the ribbon cutting.
Action shot. Whatever you want. Better.